Okay, so going back to y equals 3 to the x, first thing I will always identify will be my asymptote. So my asymptote will be y equals 0. We are going to highlight that. So y equals 0 would be the x-axis. So we are going to highlight the x-axis. Then we will find our y-intercept. So our y-intercept would be when x equals 0, substitute in 0, 3 to the 0 is 1, so my y-intercept is 0, 1. Then I will also find one other point, so let's just substitute in 1. So I have y equals 3 to the 1, or 3, so that point would be 1, 3. And then I know that my graph is going to come in from negative infinity, my exponential function, hit the y-intercept, and head up. And that is my sketch of y equals 3 to the x. That if you had, for example, y equals 2 to the x, y equals 3 to the x, y equals 4 to the x, y equals 5 to the x, all of these had a y-intercept of 1, and they had an asymptote of 0. So if I rewrote these, I could add 0. And then just a reminder that when you're finding the y-intercept, you are on the y-axis, so x is 0. Well, put a 0 in for all of these. 2 to the 0, 3 to the 0, 4 to the 0, 5 to the 0. All of those come out to be 1. Then that moved, that shifted, so we had y equals 2 to the x plus 1. That had an asymptote of 1 and an intercept of 2. Y equals 2 to the x plus 2 had an intercept of 2, or sorry, an asymptote of 2 and an intercept of 3. Y equals 2 to the x plus 3 had an asymptote at y equals 3 and an intercept of 4. So if you notice, your asymptote was always y equals and whatever it shifted by. Had like y equals 5 to the x minus 10. This would be your asymptote, so you would have an asymptote at y equals 10. If you had y equals 6 to the x plus 42, your asymptote would be y equals 42.